The investigators of Lamplight get a break from the case in order to attend the nuptials of J.J. August and Zion Voronov. That is, until they are ripped from the dream and back to the present as they flee with an unconscious Joe and a new ally from the symposium. After Melrose Quagmire saves Joe's life, they return to the symposium, where Delia Weatherby has disappeared. It is decided that their next steps are for Melrose to keep her promise and take Mama Amaretta to her long-lost husband, Dimitri.
You all head back to Lamplight Investigative Services. The office is dark when you come in, but as you walk down the hallway, you can hear the phone ring. Unlock the door, you toss it open, the phone rings again.
JJ will rush to answer the phone. Hi, Boomy, sorry, and I'll reach across and... Hello, Lamplight Investigative Services.
JJ, is my sister there? Amaretta, is she there?
Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I thought you were Zion.
Well...
Ew, not you, I'm, Mama!
Hello?
Amaretta, do you know what's going on?
I mean, there's a lot of different things happening right now. You might want to clarify a little bit.
I just got a pretty scared call from one of the nurses at the clinic, and I showed up and, well, the majority of patients who were in comatose states are now currently standing at attention next to their beds.
I kind of understand what is causing that. I don't know what that is, frankly. I am technically on top of dealing with that situation right now. You know that weird, runes and that faceless thing I was telling you about? Basically, they're the ones responsible for the weird thing happening at the clinic right now, and they're not the only ones affected currently.
Is there some precaution we need to take for JJ's sister?
I don't know. Maybe just do your best to try and keep the patients inside, make sure they don't have any instruments to harm other people or themselves.
They don't seem to be moving.
Better safe than sorry.
Indeed.
You don't know when they might start moving, if at all, but I guess all I can say is keep an eye on them for now and make sure everyone is accounted for.
They're all here. They're just looking out the front door. They're not really looking. Something's up with their eyes. And I know I'm the doctor here, but this isn't medical. That's clear.
It's, mad science is the best way I can describe it.
I'm afraid of that.
Put it lightly, Weatherby's made a little funky invention that's gone intentionally haywire.
I guess we'll see what happens to them on the flip side of this. I'll be here, pretty much. Well, I'm ready. Whatever you're about to do, come back. And I'll be here at the clinic when you do.
Definitely gonna try.
I love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
And she'll hang up. She just sighs and then turns around, bringing her hands a bit, and just goes, okay, well, let's grab what we need from here. Let's make our way over to where Yara and Zion are at the moment and try and explain what's happening.
Should we mention all of it?
I think so.
Okay, I think you get to take lead on those kinds of decisions about the people that we will see again.
Yeah.
Mel is just standing in the doorway of the office, looking around, because it's still rather dark. I don't think anybody flipped a light on when you guys rushed in to answer the phone.
Amaretta will flip on the light and turn to Melrose and say, you want anything? Coffee, tea, treats, something like that.
A dagger, a sword.
No to the coffee and the treats, but I'm already good on the other thing.
Joe goes around the office, lifting random, cushions and tchotchkes and, opening books and just pulling small knives out of various places and hiding them on her person.
Some of the knives that Joe finds are not the ones she hid. You see on Mel's thigh, there are these leather straps, and what wasn't there when you first saw her on stage, and that in the hassle to get back to the symposium after she had helped bring Joe back to consciousness, you must have missed that at some point she had slid a sheath into the straps, and there looks to be a hilt sticking by her thigh. It's fairly thin as well.
I think Joe notices it, goes to say something, and doesn't, and just kind of keeps her mouth shut. But then, while kind of like still looking away from her and going about the room, she says, "Is there anything specifically that we should bring that would be particularly helpful?"
To be quite honest, while I know what we'll find, I don't exactly know how we'll find the solution to it at this moment. Weapons will be great for getting us there in case we come into any faceless, but also, hopefully we'll have more people from the rebellion on our side when we get there as well. We'll go see them first, of course. But it looks like you already have, and she kind of looks at where you keep a couple tools on you at all time. Those are always handy.
One special thing that I thought about, that Joe looks under, like, the couch and pulls out a high-neck black leather vest and, like, throws it on over her shirt. It's, like, thick, sort of protective material.
JJ, is the gun you get like the one that Jack uses where it's, like, crystal-based and shoots out kind of quote-unquote magical charges?
Yes, I think we might have gotten them together at the beginning of our Roses moment, and so JJ does not use it a lot, and it is locked up somewhere, and she, like, goes and grabs it.
Mel does speak up when you bring that out and start, like, affixing it to your side. She says, "Oh, actually, is there another one of those or something like that that I could borrow?"
This is the only one I have.
That's alright, just wondering.
I have these here. And she only pulls out, she has, like, 2 of the, like, sort of smoke bomb things. You can have one. It's not the same, but it's long range.
Appreciate it. And she kind of, like, hangs it off a chain in her jacket.
Oh, and I think JJ spots Boomy again, and I think is gonna scoop him up under his armpits and, like, look at him and just be like, tuck him under their arm like a little football, goes over to the phone, and I'm going to dial Arthur's number.
JJ, we can't bring Boomy.
Give me a second.
Hello, this is Arthur Wynn. She's calling.
So,
JJ.
I wouldn't do this if it wasn't important. You know that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I said at the last time we saw each other. I'm sorry. Me and Mama and Joe are going to do something. And
Does it have anything to do with why we were evacuated out of the symposium?
Maybe. I don't know why they evacuated you guys. If it was because everyone froze and was taken over by this big machine, then yeah. Listen, I have a cat, and someone has to feed him if I die. So you were kind of, I don't know, you seem like a guy that's good with cats. JJ's, like, lip quivering, like, looking up at the ceiling, just like, I'm not here.
This is gonna take you spending the string you have on Arthur to make him agree to this.
I will.
Where does the cat usually stay?
At the office.
Oh, I see.
The key's under the mat. I'm pretty sure it'll be on the news if the plan goes wrong. Well, it might not be. It's secret societies and crystals and... But last time something blew up.
I'll
so
take
if you
care
see
of
something
your
big
cat,
blow up...
JJ. I'll do it. But I'm not going to do it forever, so you know what that means.
You're funny.
Well, you know, my humor... Something you missed out on.
Oh, thank you. And Jay's gonna look back up, a dark purple. Okay, I love you. And drop Boomy back on the ground. Just be like, I'm ready. And, like, stiff leg march. Oh, in her crutches. Out the door. Not looking if anyone else is done. Just gonna stand outside for a minute until they are.
Mel is still standing in the doorway, and as Joe walks past, she says, looking at JJ crutched on the hallway, "That one's going to be a little bit of a liability, I think."
She always is, but also an asset.
I've done more with worse.
Just, keep her alive, yeah, Melrose?
She kind of, like, clams up really swiftly at that and says, "I won't make any promises."
Joe kind of like said that to her as she was like turning to follow them, and basically completes that turn so that she's facing Mel again. Like passes her, like grabs the back of her collar and drags her into the inside of the doorway, presses her against the wall. Look, I haven't seen you in quite a few years, and whatever you were doing on that stage, I don't approve. And it doesn't exactly make me trust you. And I've missed you a lot, and I've thought about you a lot, but that doesn't mean that I'm about to risk my family's life because you're conflicted over something. I don't care what happens to me, not even sure if I care what happens to you, but those two in there, they're safe. Do you understand?
Joe, I'm not trying to get anyone hurt, but I've learned that making promises just means that you have to live with even more guilt when things don't go the way you wish them to go. So no, I'm not going to make a promise to you about that.
Joe kind of like pushes off of her and heads back down the hallway, but doesn't look back at her and doesn't speak to her.
You climb into Mama's car. There's an obvious tension. I think it's probably Mama and Joe in the front and JJ and Mel in the back. So you drive over to where you think Zion is at Camino del Corazon, and when you get there, you notice, despite the fact that it's mid-afternoon, all of the curtains have been pulled over the windows, and the close sign is on the door.
That's not good. Amaretta will walk up and kind of knock on the door with her brows furrowed because something has clearly happened. And she can assume Comida del Corazon was affected somehow, but she doesn't know how quite.
You knock on the door, and you see fingers kind of reach where the curtain hangs over the door window and pulls it aside, and you see your son's face. And when he sees you, he looks visibly relieved, going from like high stress to immediate relief. And you hear the door unlocking, and he pulls it open. He goes, "Inside, quick." And he opens it for all of you to come in.
She'll motion for everyone to get inside quick as possible. Hold open the door for JJ with the crutches.
As soon as everybody's in, he like pushes the door shut against the pressure that keeps it kind of slowly closing. He pushes it shut and relocks it. And inside, all of the overhead lights are off and just some of the wall lights are on. And you see that all of the kitchen staff has come out and are sitting at one of the tables. And Ernesto is cupping the face of his daughter Lucia as she stands catatonic in the middle of the restaurant. Zion says, we don't know what happened. Just in the middle of the shift, all of a sudden she got like this.
Oh my gosh.
She's going to be fine. Here, just keep her safe and keep an eye on her. She should be fine.
Ernesto kind of turns around and you can see that there are tears kind of streaking his cheeks. Amaretta, what's going on?
Come here, Ernesto. And she'll pull out some tissues to give to her friend, who's clearly very disturbed. Something happened at the symposium. A device was turned on and intentionally ruined, and it's been... I don't know why she's been affected, but anyone that's been linked to the Faceless, or I guess anything that unfortunate they've happened to be linked to, has been affecting folks all over. I mean, Antonia's clinic, everyone in there has been affected too, same as this. I'm not... all I know is that she's probably seeing something, and I don't know what she could be seeing right now. But I know where to ideally stop this. I'm gonna take my son, if you don't mind, to help figure all this out.
No, please, whatever you gotta do it. I need my baby back.
Of course.
I'm sure Antonia would also keep watch over her if you take her with the others, but if you don't feel like moving her, just keep watch and keep her safe.
I wouldn't even know how to move her at this point. She just seems limp, but really hard at the same time, and I don't know what to do.
We're going to take care of it.
It's not the best thing to hear, but all you can do is wait.
Alright, you guys just figure it out, please.
Of course, rest assured, Ernesto, I will not stop until everyone is back to normal.
Thank you. And he kind of takes your hands and clasps them between his. Thank you.
She'll give his hands a good squeeze. before letting them go. Well, I can't afford to waste any more time if we want to get down to the bottom of this quickly. The sooner we get everyone out of the state, the better.
Is there anybody else we need to pick up on our way?
I mean, probably my daughter, but she'd certainly want to see this.
What's up to you? Lead the way.
Amaretta will then walk out the door with a troubled expression, deciding whether or not to wait for both of the siblings or to try and break it one-on-one.
JJ's avoiding Zion's eyes.
When you get all in the car, it's now Zion, JJ in the middle, and Mel squished into the back seat. And Zion is just like, so, is anybody gonna tell me what's going on?
JJ looks panicked at the back of Mama's head.
You should probably have this. Joe just hands Zion a spare knife in a sheath.
He takes it. Alright, I've always been better with my fists, but I guess I can kind of...
Oh my god, here. And pull off some of the rings that, like, click together. Gets them on the middle, ring and pinky, and so it's better than nothing. It'll put some punch. But there is a moment where she, like, gently takes his, like, ring finger and, like, is, like, putting one, like, on and just being like, can you snap your fingers?
Yeah, I can snap. He snaps in the hand that's not holding the knife.
And the rings, like, fuse together in the way they do when I want to punch people.
Holy shit! That's pretty cool.
I don't use it, like, ever. Sorry, Joe, kind of a waste, but I guess we're using it now, so not a waste.
Joe, you made that. It's quite ingenious.
Thank you, I've got my own tricks. And she looks down at her own rings and thinks about all the hidden weapons in them. Has a little proud moment.
Do you drive over to Yarrow's apartment?
She'd want to tell Yarrow what's happening and let Yarrow decide, because Yarrow's not a fighter. But given what's happening, she would want to inform both of her children and be like, make the decision if you want to go.
I think this would require a stop-off then, since you've already left the restaurant and don't have access to a phone currently in the car. So you drive over to Yarrow's apartment, and you pull up to the stop, and as you get out of the car, you hear, well, this is a weird coincidence. And you see walking up to the apartment is Veliko.
Veliko!
Okay, well, no need to yell. I'm right here.
I mean, I might as well yell considering what I've just learned recently. Did you know where he was this whole time?
What are you talking about?
Dimitri's alive.
This man has no change in facial expression. No, I didn't know that. I am gonna wring his neck when I see him.
Glad I don't beat you to it. There's not a lot of room in the car, but if you want to hop in, you're welcome to.
I will, but I'm here. And he looks up at the building. Actually, to check on your daughter.
Please don't tell me something happened to
I'm
my baby.
checking. I don't know.
Okay.
Something weird's going on, which I think that you already know.
Yeah.
A lot of the individuals I know who are using this new drug that we have spoken of have entered a strange state, and
Yarrow wouldn't...
I want to check. Yarrow came to me recently and to see if she could get her hands on it, because she started working with Professor Saccad at Arcadia to see if she could find the reason to why these do what they do.
Well, that sounds more like her.
I'm just want to check and make sure that nothing has gone awry. So you are able to open the front door, and Mama and Zion kind of lead the way up to where Yarrow's apartment is, because I don't think anybody else has been there except for them and possibly Veliko. You knock on the door, and a couple seconds go by, and it is opened by Yarrow, who seems to be just fine. She is taken aback by the amount of people currently standing outside of her door. What are you all doing here?
I think Joe, kind of puts her hand on her face and is like, do you feel alright?
Yes, I'm fine. Why are you touching me?
It's supposed to be my job.
Sorry. Joe kind of, moves out of the way so that Mama can get to her daughter.
Absolutely no one here thought that you were doing drugs. That's not why we're here.
JJ, finally make it up the stairs on her crutches and be like, was Yarrow doing drugs?
I think all the concern came from me. I just wanted to check because it seems that those things have been influencing people in the city today. So I wanted to check on you, and just happened that your family was as well.
She'll look to her son and Yara and say, y'all might want to sit down for this.
Yeah, sure, everyone can come in. And everyone starts to come in except for Mel, who stays outside in the hallway, and she just says, I'll let you all talk. I'll be out here when you're ready to leave.
Thank you.
Why don't you all go ahead? I'll stay with you.
JJ's gonna look at Joe like she's a traitor. Not for staying with Mel, but for leaving her alone in an emotionally charged room.
Joe pulls the door shut. Valiko's kind of standing in the doorway, and Zion and Yarrow are hesitantly taking seats. It is not often that there is this sort of family confrontation.
JJ's gonna go perch next to Zion and kind of be like playing with his hair or something. Like, hi, I'm here to give comfort. You don't know that yet, but I'm here if you need me.
Amrita pushes her hands together and brings them a bit before sighing again and going, there's no easy way to say this, and I don't blame y'all if you think that I am crazy for bringing this up again. But I know for a fact that your father is definitely alive and that probably gonna see him soon.
There is complete and utter silence in this apartment.
Yeah, so I don't know, and I have a lot of questions for your father. I'm sure you do too. And so if you want to come along, because he's apparently gonna help us deal with this whole situation. It's been affecting Lucia and the people at the clinic and the folks at the symposium and who knows who else. So I felt that it was better to tell you now rather than just suddenly bring your dad back.
I don't have any questions for him. And Yara stands up, walks into her bedroom, and slams the door shut. Zion kind of looks at it. I know we're on a little bit of a time-sensitive mission thing today, but let me go talk to her.
Yeah, of course.
He knocks on the door and opens it. She hadn't locked it, closes it behind him, and you can hear muffled voices from inside. Well, that, I guess, went kind of about as well as it could go. And he deserves that, I think.
Definitely has a lot of explaining to do if he wants. If he wants to explain why the hell he missed his daughter's graduation, why he decided to miss 3 years of our lives. Couldn't have bothered sending a letter or a phone call telling us he was okay, at least. Yeah, he has a lot to answer for. Past 3 years, I haven't slept.
Mama, do you want a hug? And JJ's giving you a look. She knows this isn't enough. She cannot fix what you have lost. But she has seen so much hurt today, and she doesn't know what else to do.
Baby, I really appreciate that.
You don't know where the crutches begin and JJ ends because she's just so stiff.
Only a couple minutes later, the door opens and Zion comes back out and he shuts it and he goes, she's not coming. Give her some time.
That's your father's problem, not mine.
And I want it to be made clear that I'm not doing this for him, but I'm doing this for everybody else who's hurt right now. And I'll tell that to his face too if we do find him.
I have a lot of things to say to his face. So, you're free to join.
It's only been a couple minutes outside in the hallway, but Mel hasn't made a move to converse.
Joe leans against the opposite wall of the hallway, long legs like sticking out in front of her, arms crossed, head slightly bowed. Every few moments she can't help her eyes like flicking over to Mel. Didn't need to be a part of that.
I thought maybe you want me to keep my mouth shut, because every time I speak, I think that you get upset with me.
I don't get upset with what you say. I just don't. You've been here this whole time.
I don't think 2 years is this whole time.
I wish I could explain to you how unfathomable it is to me.
That's rich coming from you, I think.
Really?
You ran away, and I had to deal with the aftermath of all of that. By myself.
Of what? Perhaps if you had been involved in the actual happening of it, there wouldn't have been an aftermath.
Really?
But no, I was in the woods by myself that night. You never saw her. You didn't have to talk to her parents. You didn't have a fucking student magazine blaming everything on you.
No, but I was your best friend. And so when you ran, I became complicit. Do you know how many times I sat in an investigator's office? How many hours I spent trying to make them believe you had nothing to do with it?
Not as many hours as you spent trying to find her. Can't you see that's all that matters? Keeping people alive, keeping them safe.
Joe, she was never our responsibility. You just decided one day to make her yours.
We knew her. She was in our classes from grade 8.
And there are people whose job it is to do that sort of thing.
But they weren't doing their jobs, were they?
So you just had to make it your life then?
Perhaps. It's the best life I can think of.
Then I'm glad that you found that here.
You would have never been satisfied by it, though. You had to be famous. You had to collect the accolades and have everyone tell you what a genius you were. And I did it for a while, because I loved you. I would never have done this to you.
I didn't make decisions for myself, thinking I was doing anything to you by them.
Staying in my mother's apartment has nothing to do with me.
It didn't, until she came here. Do you know that when you say all I wanted was fame, that's unfair? Because it's not true. All I wanted was opportunity. And you got it, and you didn't want it, and now you're mad that she decided to give it to somebody else.
I don't care that Greta gave you money. I care that you took it from her.
Well, I didn't have much of a choice.
Yes, there's definitely a lack of rich people in the world.
I don't run in the same circles you did. I didn't know all the people you knew. So sure, maybe I could have figured it out, but it would have taken me years, and I couldn't have done it there. Because back home, people hate me. I was kind of ostracized after all of it. I was expelled, okay? So I didn't necessarily graduate with anything. No one wanted to hire me. My name being in the newspapers and whatnot. So yes, I took the one thing I could do. The one thing that was offered to me. And if I thought that you would have cared, if I thought you cared about me anymore, maybe I wouldn't have done it. But you made it pretty clear by leaving without saying a word that I didn't mean anything to you.
You abandoned me. You abandoned me in the middle of everything. I needed you to be there for me. I needed your help. I needed your fucking genius. But you were too scared, and I couldn't let that girl be alone. And that was my mistake, sure. But at least someone found her.
I can't spend my life going in circles with you. And the door opens into the hallway as everyone else comes out. She wipes a tear from under her eye and stands up straighter. Alright, so are we all here? Are we ready to go?
Yeah, she decided she's not going.
We might as well begin. It's a bit of an annoying journey.
Can't be any more annoying than this journey has been.
JJ's gonna look between Melrose and Joe.
They are not looking at each other.
This is gonna be a fun car ride.
You all pack into this car, JJ kind of having to sit on Zion's lap now that Valiko is in the back seat.
JJ's like not looking at him. JJ feels so bad. Any other time would be thriving. This would be the time of her life. Right now she's just like, sorry I knew your dad was alive 2 seconds before you did. Do you still think I'm hot? Also, you are not taking this well, but you're not letting anyone know you're not taking it well, and now I'm scared.
I mean, Amaretta knows her kids aren't taking it well.
Surprisingly, we hit a full circle moment as Mel's directions lead you to West Point train station, where you saved Jack, where JJ got hurt for the first time, where you saved Delia. And you find parking, and Mel looks up at the place and she goes, well, this is the easiest access point, so you might as well use it.
Pretty ironic, considering the last time we were here.
Well, now I'm just left with a lot more questions than answers at this moment.
We know to find who has them.
He better have them.
Remember when we first saw April, and you were convinced that it wasn't her? I wonder if something odd, similar, happened to Delia. If someone's using her face. I don't know.
Maybe it wasn't them.
Before she found out about her mother's death, Delia was trying to feed him her own dreams.
God, that's a scary thought.
She was in an altered state a lot of the time. Could explain personality switches, shifts, changes. I don't have all the answers for you.
You don't have a lot of answers for us.
Well, let's just hope that if we see her very soon, maybe it's the more trustworthy version of her. The one that remembers that we saved her life.
Right.
Well, lead the way.
You walk through the large atrium of West Point Station. Mel passing right by the signs that list all of the train times coming and leaving. Doesn't give any heed to the information desk. Passes by it all. Walks down a corridor that leads to many of the separate tracks and past the track and the platform that you all found yourself on, so past platform 11. She goes down platform 15, which is the last one on this wall of the station, and as you had done before, she opens a door that leads into a utility hallway, dark, unlit, and also uninhabited. She makes her way back down this hallway, not really looking to see if you guys are following her. Finds a stairwell down, just this metal railing leading to a lower floor. And once at the bottom, she pulls away some crates, and there is a grate in the floor. Probably was originally there for flooding purposes, but obviously now being used for something different. She pulls open the grate, and she says, "Well, I would say after you, but since I know where we're headed," and begins climbing down. You don't climb down as far as when you and JJ were going into the sewers. It's less than that. You also find that it's a much more cramped space. It seems to be that you've entered some sort of like man-made tunnel system. And Mel says, "According to some research I've done," and while her voice should kind of echo off the walls here, the space almost kind of eats the sound within it. You can still hear her though. It travels back far enough that everyone can once you get down here. There used to be a system of tunnels throughout parts of the city to connect one to the other for easier transfer of goods and of workers. But where we're going is a little bit farther down than that. You go through this hallway and you all kind of have to crouch uncomfortably as your head is, or you are too tall for this tunnel system that is here. At least right away. It eventually does open up a little bit wider where you can walk fully straight up and side by side. There are a bunch of closed gates that are iron and slatted, and so you can kind of see down that there are a lot of different tunnels connecting off of this one. And there are little plaques on the wall that designate the name of the tunnel. So this obviously was a place that used to be used and now looks rather abandoned. So I don't think any of you really knew about this because I don't know if these had been in use since you lived in Nova, even including Mama.
I don't think the rock technique is gonna help here.
No, I know where I'm going.
Well, just because you know where you're going doesn't mean there's not a crocodile down here.
There's not.
Says the person about to be eaten by a crocodile.
Wonderful.
JJ's trying to lighten the mood.
It's falling completely flat. Zion tries to hold your hand.
JJ will, lean into him a little bit and, look up and, you okay? Hey, I know it's a no, but you okay?
Weirdly enough, yeah.
And JJ's, eyes will get a little bit wider and, she'll slowly nod. Okay. And just kind of, pause for a moment, pat his arm.
Mel leads you guys through a couple gates and then down some more stairs as she continues to find her way deeper and deeper into this system of tunnels until you definitely realize that you're out of this system of tunnels and you are back into the sewers. A different part of the sewers, a different sewer. The ones from Nova don't necessarily connect all the way down to Cypher where those aqueducts were. And Mel says, "There are some access points, but not right here. Anyways, we won't be in the sewers for long. We'll be entering the mine tunnels soon."
Anyone know any good songs?
Valiko says, "In my work and understanding of business and dealings as such, it's better to keep a low profile."
Fair enough.
I think Joe kind of half grins at JJ.
As your eyes begin to adjust to the darkness finally, all of a sudden there's, out of the corner of your eye, it feels like there's a little bit of a glow coming up on the left side. And Mel doesn't really make any comment about it or choose to point it out, but as you pass, you see, Mama mostly, a very familiar profile painted in glowing paint on the wall.
She sits there and just goes, "You son of a bitch."
At that, Mel does glance. It most likely won't change your thoughts on the subject, but there are lots of these throughout the city tunnels. He's become a sort of beacon of hope for some. I think it's all a little bit overdone.
Well, I'll say. He used to not be a fan of getting his picture done. Guess that's changed.
It's not of his doing, but he absolutely did not try to take them down, so you may choose to think of that as you will.
I think Amaretta will chuckle to herself, but as anyone knows, that's the I am so angry, I have nothing but laughter inside of me now.
You reach a part of the sewer where she opens a full steel door. There's no window in it, there's no space. It almost, as it opens, lets out a hiss like it was airlocked and pulls it open. And she says, "Whoever comes last, please shut it behind you. Also, does anybody have a light?"
Joe has a lighter and hands it to her.
Holds it out in front of her a little bit and says, "Sorry, it's just there aren't any lights in this part, so..."
No need to apologize.
You see this flickering, just small from the lighter flame, against the walls that are not stone anymore. They are earth and dirt, but tightly packed, almost clay-like in their hardness. She continues on, and this dirt hallway widens up to a little bit of a room, and there are no exits or entrances, it seems, in this room. Mel goes over to a wall, and she wipes away some of the dust and clay covering, and sticking into it is a little iron rune, and she presses it in, and you can hear it go. You see these orange crystals kind of like flicker up the wall, revealing a full-size door. She pulls this one open and says, "Well, we're here now, so prepare yourselves how you wish," and begins to lead you through.
Joe draws her sword but kind of keeps it down in a non-threatening position and follows.
You begin to hear, as you go down this tunnel, voices. And then the tunnel begins to open up. You see on each side, like, there are some openings in the walls here. And through it, you can see, like, different rooms. She eventually gets you to a point in this hallway where she takes a couple steps down into this, like, circular space that looks like a meeting room of sorts. There's a wooden table set up. There's chairs everywhere. There are also, like, what looks to be earth-created couches and chairs for people to sit in. And you can hear more voices, and you see people in this room sitting. You see that there is wooden walkways spiraling up this tunnel shaft that goes straight up, and there are stairs going up to each different level, and there are more hallways and more rooms. Like, there's a whole group of people that have been living here for a really long time. And she says, "Well, welcome to headquarters." Pardon the interruption, but here's another show we think you'd like.
Incoming message coming from the 588.
Good morning, recruits. Welcome to hell.
This is basic training. No one's supposed to die.
Wing Women is a semi-historical actual play podcast.
Have you pissed anyone off recently?
No one I can think of. While I run through the bulleted indexed list of people we've pissed off in the last couple of days.
They endure discrimination from their male counterparts.
All of your beds have been carried out of the nurse's station and placed in the middle of the jogging track.
I don't think it was Ivan. He's weak.
Against this bitter setting, our four motley heroines gain the chance to experience queer joy, gender euphoria, and equality for the first and perhaps the only time in their lives.
How obvious am I being?
See, I've kind of always thought that there is a level to some of us in this barracks that's visible.
Have you been using the word shenanigans?
I've been experimenting.
Where did you learn that word?
Until the next mission, this is us, signing off.
You can find the links to this show in the description box below. Mel leads you all into this meeting space communal area, and as she walks in, you hear somebody from this level go, "Hey, Mel!" And from high up above, you hear somebody call down, "Hey, Quagmire!" And she yells back, Shut up, Claudio. You still owe me that game of aces. Shut up, Claudio. Go get Dimitri immediately. Guy up on a higher level kind of like immediately becomes serious and ducks down a different hallway and out of sight. She kind of puts her hands on the edges of this wooden table and turns around and kind of leans back.
This like your clubhouse?
Clubhouse is a bit childish, I think. For some people this is home. Some people have lived here for longer than I've been alive. Some people were born here and died here before I even came to be. Well, you can think of it as like another neighborhood of Nova. Just one that isn't well known. It has given people a reprieve and a place that they can live their lives when they might not have been able to in the city proper. And most of them here come from families who were part of rebellions in the past. Dimitri isn't the first leader here, just the most recent.
Was he elected or chosen or...
Elected is probably too formal. Chosen, there was a bit of time, I believe, before he took up the... It all happened so fast, according to the stories. I wasn't here for it. He was being heavily influenced by other factors down here. Other factors that existed before Delia came in and swooped in and kind of took them under her own control. But he was sort of saved from them by the previous, or just by the rebellion in general, as they were going through a bit of a hard point because their previous leader had been lost, and apparently Dimitri just had an air about him and fell into the spot that was empty. That's about as much as I know about it, just from word of mouth, people telling stories. Dimitri doesn't often like to discuss it. She kind of turns back to the room. Well, you lot, how about you clear out now? And some of the people who were in here kind of disappear into other rooms. And you can hear boot steps coming down a hallway across the room. And first you see this kid, roughly Joe's age, head kind of bowed, looking up at Mel nervously, steps to the side of the room, and then coming in, dressed in all black, almost like military fatigue-ish in the sense that it's like black cargo-ish pants, a tight black shirt tucked in, a belt, and like heavy-duty boots. Walks in Dimitri. And he stands in this doorway that he was just walking through, frozen, looking directly at Mama.
I think he could probably see her expression. That is just a storm of so many emotions. She isn't saying a word, but everything in her eyes is kind of expressing, he better get his ass down here.
He doesn't say a word, but he does. Boots clicking on the iron steps as he comes down all the way, and he stands at one end of the table, the end opposite the rest of you, with Mel right in the middle. This is a surprise.
You're surprised? I thought you were dead. And Hope, being the cruel bitch that she is, made me hold on for 3 years. I'm glad you're alive. And right now, I might just wring your fucking neck for being alive for 3 years without a fucking word, Dimitri. You missed our daughter's graduation. You better have a damn good explanation as to why the hell I haven't seen you or spoken to you 3 years. Why you're kids and why your best friend hasn't seen anything. And I'm trying to be patient right now.
He looks over to Veliko and says, puts his hands out, Veliko. And Veliko walks over, punches him in the nose, and then Dimitri kind of hand comes up and cups it, and he's bleeding a little bit. He wipes it off, and then Veliko puts a hand out, and Dimitri clasps it, and they do a little masculine hug where they pull each other in and pat each other on the back. And he says, "My friend, it is good to see you again." And Veliko says, "I think that friends usually don't disappear on each other, but
To hell with it. It's good to see you too. I'm glad you are alive.
And then Dimitri looks back at Amaretta and goes,
If my friend here forgave me that easily, what say you?
And she's gonna charge at him and fucking sock him in the chest and in the face, and then just start beating on his chest as tears start streaming down her eyes.
Eventually, he's able to grasp your hands and kind of hold you close to his chest so that you stop beating him, but so that you're close.
Is there anything I can really say?
I don't know, maybe I missed you.
My love, I missed you dearly.
I'm sorry. Would be a nice start.
He lets go of your hands so that you're not forced to kind of stay there if you don't want to.
I'm sorry that I have been gone for so long. It was not my original intention, but what, Dimitri? I had to stay. Originally, I was working a case, and then it led to this, and it felt in the circumstance you all were safer with me being dead. I was trying to prevent others from hurting you, but I was unsuccessful in preventing myself from causing you pain. I see that. With you in front of me, I see that clearly.
Bear killed you to send a letter. It's not fair. You didn't have to do this alone. I would have helped. It's not your choice to make whether or not I get hurt. That's my decision to put myself at risk.
Someone needed to see after Zion and Yarrow.
If everything about this is said and done, will you at least come back, or at least...
Are you here to help?
Of course.
Then I think we can finish it. And if we do, then I've closed a case, and I can come home after a long, long night.
Yeah, 3 years long, she'll say, before pulling him in and kissing him, because she finally gets to do so after 3 years. And even though she is still so hopping mad, she also really wants to kiss him, because he looks hot right now, and it really makes her mad, and that makes her somehow even more angry that he dares to be attractive while she's angry with him.
You pull him in, and he wraps his arm around your upper back and puts the other one against your neck and kisses you deeply, and everybody else kind of sitting around this table watches this go on for like a couple minutes more than comfortable.
Amaretta will remember there are people there and pull away, probably a little red, and just go, still mad at you.
As you should be.
Zion doesn't come any closer than the other end of the table, but he looks up and he says, I don't know when it was that we became so different. I don't know what was lost in translation between what you taught me growing up and what you chose to do. I don't think I have forgiveness to give you, because I don't think what you're doing is wrong, but I don't think your priorities are right. That's all I gotta say.
I think JJ's behind Zion and just flips him off.
And Dimitri kind of peers around and goes,
Is that who I think it is?
I think JJ hides her hand first, and then, like, gut instinct hides behind Zion. I think she always had a much closer relationship with Mama, whereas was always a little bit more nervous and reserved around Dimitri. Not for any particular reason. He's never been anything but kind, but, you know.
I think this is a interesting group.
Maybe. Someone else should say something.
I don't know, we haven't met. I'm Joanna Gilmore. I work for Mama as well.
Yeah, I took over your business.
And expanded, I see. Interesting.
Well, I didn't exactly know what I was doing when you left.
It seems you've done well.
She has.
The best.
Well, is us all done with family reunions? Can we get on with it?
There's a bunch of people who are frozen because of crystal drugs and also a machine, but the machine didn't work, but now it does work, but it might not be working right, but a bunch of people are trapped in a dream state. And it was the Weatherbees.
That's a pretty good summation of that evening, yeah.
Actually quite good.
They're here because there's some overlap and they would like our help. Will you give it? It seems you know more information about things than we do here, maybe?
Well, she was working for the Weatherbees. But, so she probably knows more than... I mean, Joe's pretty smart. Mama's pretty smart.
Well, our cumulative knowledge, I think, kind of surpasses what any of us knew originally. And Dimitri, she ruined the plan that we had. And she put it into action. It's now or never. We have to go.
Cumulative knowledge time. What was her plan?
No, our plan. She ruined our plan.
What was your plan?
Well, Dimitri sent me to be her aide, to help her, to get in with her.
Oh, so she just didn't... Oh, okay. I thought maybe you guys had a second secret evil plan.
Our plan wasn't evil, to begin with.
I don't trust you still.
It's probably correct.
Sorry, I'm tired. It's been a long day. We can move on.
Well, I see that maybe I have someone to take over when I leave. Looking at Mel.
JJ will look at Joe.
Oh, well, I don't necessarily think that... I have a certain skill set, we'll talk about it later. For now, let us go. And he goes over to the wall, and there is this rope, and he begins to pull it, and you see this loud, very obnoxious clanging of a bunch of different type of bells that begin to ring out throughout the space. And then you hear more boot steps, and you see, kind of coming out of different hallways, probably about like another 10 or 15 people, weapons at sides, ready to go. Will this do?
I think it'll do just fine.
Quite a bit of manpower.
Maybe we finally crush the parasite that has found its home under this city.
You lead the way.
Let's go! He calls up at everyone and they kind of start marching down the stairs. And you enter back the way you came, back into the sewers, but he leads you in what seems to be a direction opposite of where you should be going, but seems to know exactly what he's doing. A fair distance, when all of a sudden you hit another section of this area that is dirt, and you get to a point where there are tracks, there are carts, mining carts, and they're not huge. Like 3 people may be able to fit into a cart at once. So he climbs in one with a couple of his people, and there's somebody staying behind who's kind of moving the lever to like spark the crystals in the tracks to get it to start moving. And a couple other of his people get in one. Mel climbs in one.
I get in Mel's.
Felica will get in that one as well.
JJ will get in Zion's car.
Yeah.
The rest of the people come on as well. You go until the carts reach the end of a track, which is probably about like 10 minutes of travel time. Is there anything you say during this time? There's just the racket of wheels against track. The screech every now and again.
I think JJ's just like humming nervously and picking out her fingers, looking at Mama, looking at Zion, looking to where Mel and Joe are. Just kind of like, there's 8 different things that everyone is anxious and upset about right now, and we can't talk about any of them because we have to go save the city?
I think Amaretta is gonna hold both JJ and Zion's hands and just kind of give them squeezes and like rub her thumb on like the back of their hands to try and comfort them, because she knows JJ is stressed out by dealing with the tension. And Zion is obviously upset. He's upset on behalf of people, but also part of him is probably a little upset of the whole thing itself, so just trying to be that silent force of comfort for the 10 minutes, even if nobody really wants to talk.
JJ will fill that silence. You know, actually, this kind of rock is It reminds me of this one time when me and April were kids and blah, 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 blah.
I think Joe is like still being upset at Mel and not talking to her, but also is like, she smells so good. And is like, oh, we're so close to each other. Oh my god. No thoughts right now. Battle mode only, but is not succeeding super well.
Mel seems to be kind of in her own world of thought, completely distracted from the present. The carts eventually come to a halt, and everyone climbs out, and Dimitri turns around and says, "We have a bit of ways to go on foot, but everybody, you know your positions, what we've been training to do, so we have to take out the guards first, and we have to deal with the large man later. And also, Delia might be here now. I actually just assume she is. She left the symposium quite quickly. I don't know where else she would go, except to see her father, so..."
Who are we trying to keep alive?
Ourselves.
Ourselves?
I like the head on you.
Joe only glares at him.
I just mean, like, do we need him? Are we aiming to kill, or are we... JJ's, like, fiddling with her gun.
Most of the people here have been changed in some way that they're not thinking straight, so if we can avoid killing them and working on trying to rehabilitate, that would be better. But this is a fight, so someone might get hurt. That's how it goes.
JJ will, like, touch, like, the top of her shoulder where the scarf... Yep, just making sure that we didn't need anyone in particular.
It would probably be good not to kill Delia if avoidable, so we can bring her to the law, but again, ourselves first.
Joe puts a hand on JJ's shoulder where the scar is as well.
JJ will look at Joe and go, "Ourselves first," and then put, like, the hand that was touching her shoulder, like, on Joe's shoulder.
Exactly. You first. And then, like, moves on.
JJ will and stomp behind Joe in what has become a very common occurrence.
Zion just says, "I kinda agree with her."
Don't you start too. I'll beat you both up if you don't make it out.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you over the sound of crutches hitting the floor.
They're gonna be hitting something else, Joe!
Lead you out of this tunnel. There's another door that you go through back into more familiar sewers. They are wider here. There's a greenish hue to all of the stone. There's water on the floor. Not exactly the tunnels you had been in, but obviously connected to them. Mel whispers, "Just be ready to see something quite ugly when we get there. It's not a pretty sight, and this stench is quite bad."
I've seen a lot of ugly things over the past few years. I think I can handle it.
You come to a corner and Dimitri puts a hand up for everyone to stop, and then he makes a motion, and two of the individuals come around the corner and throw these throwing stars down the hallway, and you see that points of them light up at the ends with crystals as they spin down the hallway, and then you hear and then you hear a thud. Well, that takes care of the guards outside the door.
Who knows, maybe it hit a sack.
I don't think sack makes noise.
If it's of meat.
The guards. A sack of meat is the guards.
Was.
Indeed.
Amrita is reminded why she loves this man.
I think that maybe I should go first. I know the jig's up with me, but she might be, or at least I might be able to get us in. They don't know any of you. They're aware of me.
Wouldn't that just leave you vulnerable for an attack or possible capture?
Well, no, I'm hoping that you will come in right after, but at least there would be... I could get in the door.
Go ahead, then.
She starts down the hallway. And she may have meant it literally, because she pulls out something from in her pocket and presses it up against the door. There's like a skittering sound, and these crystals form around the door handle, like a greenish color, and it pops open. She pushes it in. You can hear a voice inside go, "Where'd your mask go?" And you hear Mel say, "Oh, I just didn't really think I needed to wear it in the dark tunnels when the only people around are you all." And then Dimitri gives another hand signal, and his team kind of like bursts in through the door. He looks to Amaretta and he goes, We can hold these ones off if you want to go further in.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of not seeing you again.
You can't get rid of me easily.
You better not.
And he kisses you deeply outside this door, surrounded by the sound of clashing swords and shooting guns. For this move of this game, finally kiss in a dangerous situation, you will take a +1 ongoing to get to safety and protect Dimitri at a later point.
With that, I suppose Amoretta will give a signal to her fellows to go on in.
As you guys get in, you're in an odd-shaped room. It kind of like curves into a hallway, and down this hallway, you can see this green glowing light kind of coming down the hallway, and you're hit with this acrid smell of rot and decay and sewage. And Mel says, well, you don't really have a... And then like whips out her sword and parries someone just off to the side. We don't have the opportunity for surprise now. I'm sure she can hear us if she's here. So we might as well go now.
Perfect. And Jo draws her sword and has a dagger in the other hand and goes forward.
Mel takes you down this hallway of stone boots clapping against it. Zion following behind at the back, kind of helping JJ along with her crutches. And this smell is just getting worse and worse until you hear also the sound of liquid falling. And you kind of burst into this large, domed, cylindrical room. There are stone walkways that crisscross each other, and flowing beneath it is a bright, unnatural green water. And you can see around the sides are those green crystals that you saw in a tank before, growing like algae along the sides and almost starting to like grow on top of this liquid. You also see pipes coming out of the walls, and there's just like sludge dropping in, dropping through. You can see through the other end, almost as if suspended, well, actually is suspended, you can see this individual with like manacled wrists and ankles to these large heavy chains that have been strung up to the walls. This humanoid figure that is like 10 times the size of what a human should be, and bulbous, like swollen skin, almost like turning black, and just everything about them is just so swollen, like no features really anymore to tell that this was a human at one point in time. And you can see that there are these crystal plinths jutting up from the water underneath its body, like touching its back just so, and that these crystals are lit up in a rainbow of colors. And Mel says, it looks like she's still feeding him dreams. And you see across the way on the other side is Delia looking up, just watching.
What a miserable state of existence to keep a loved one in.
I agree.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's so gross.
She doesn't see him like he looks, is the problem. There's a bit of a delusion there.
Ugh.
Is he feeding on everyone that's in that state right now? All those people at the symposium in the hospital?
Yes.
Can he feel it? Can he feel anything?
I don't know. He was dead when she brought him here. I don't think he's ever been alive.
I hope not, for his sake. I wouldn't want to live like this.
How do we take it down?
I wouldn't try that if I were you, comes her voice from down the way.
Okay, well you're not, so...
What exactly would you do if we tried?
Kill you. You can't stop it now. It's so close to being done. He's almost back. I can feel it.
Delia, whatever he is not your father anymore.
How dare you! You don't know him? I do.
No, but I thought I sort of knew you at a point. I saved your life, you remember?
You didn't save my life. You answered my sister's call for help.
Where is your sister?
I don't know.
Does she know about that?
No. She didn't believe in me. Why would I tell her anything?
Because she cares about you?
No, she doesn't. She cares about herself and her image and our family's name.
Well, I care about you. So Joe starts to, like, kind of slowly approach Delia.
Watch your step.
I actually sort of thought of you as a friend, so thank you.
A friend. We've met once.
Suppose I'm desperate. But I did see your brilliance, Delia. That was apparent. She keeps approaching.
I do really think that you should watch your step. You probably don't want to come any closer.
And why not?
I did say I'd kill you.
I'm not threatening him. I'm just talking to you. Perhaps you could come talk to me. We can both be safely away from...
I appreciate your sincerity. I really do. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish it. And you can either leave me be, or do what you must, and I'll do what I must.
Can JJ hold up the gun and point, like, she's not trying to make a show of it. She just wants to have it up and ready if things escalate. So if anything, she's trying to make it so that Delia doesn't notice what she's doing.
In the meantime, while Joe's talking, I want Amoretta to be quietly looking around for a way to kind of release the chains.
I would say that just like in this space, there doesn't seem to be. These are heavy duty. Whatever point that he was hoisted up there, he must have already been like this. But as you look around, you do see people with white and gold masks kind of melting out from hidden pillars near the walls. There's about 3 of them.
Joe clocks this out of the corner of her eye, but like still keeps her gaze on Delia. Delia, I understand. Missing a father, it's devastating. But this isn't the solution. All of those people, they're just lost to their own dreams.
All my life, people told me, Delia, you have money. You don't need all of it. So you have to give it to people who do, who need it more than you. Those people don't need their dreams right now. My father needs their dreams. He needs to know that there is a future for him. He needs to see what there is to come back to. They can spare a few, don't you think? And as you take another step, there is a loud sound, and these spikes shoot up from the ground right in front of you. Like I said, watch your step.
Joe kind of like slides either between them or steps over them. Thank you for the warning.
Do you want to see how it works?
I would love to.
I know that it seems simple, but it's not. It's kind of like fungus crystal can be. A wide network. You just have to know where to place them. You just have to know what makes them spread. And then it's easy. Have you ever thought about that?
I haven't. Educate me.
They need something living. And I found that it didn't have to be real. It almost was better that it wasn't. It needed to be organic, new. So what better than wishes and wants and desires and needs? That's what makes us up, doesn't it? That's what fills our days.
You're right.
So my mother made a machine to try to harness time. Just a few little changes and it could harness dreams. I mean, she is the reason he's here in the first place, isn't she? Scientific advancement and whatnot.
Joe has been getting closer and closer as she talks.
I would like you to stop, because the closer you get, the angrier I become.
You've been feeding your father wants and hopes and dreams. But what about your own? Don't you desire something besides this?
Have you never been passionate about something so much that it consumes you?
Of course.
Well, then you have your answer. You're here to stop me, right?
I don't know.
I might seem strange to you, but I'm not an idiot. Like your friend back there thought I was. Hi, Mel.
Mel is not my friend, but you could be.
I need you to roll an entice.
I rolled an 8.
So here's the thing. I don't really want a friend. And I don't really believe you.
Why wouldn't you believe me? We're so similar. We are so similar. We are misunderstood. We are obsessive.
Oh, I don't think I misunderstood.
No?
But I know the people you're with, and I know what you do. My sister hired you after all. I've seen how you work. There's nothing about you that makes me want to trust you.
Well, if you don't trust me, fight me.
I've been waiting for you to ask. When she says that, everybody in the room kind of jumps into action. The three faceless kind of run out in charge at the group in the back as Delia comes forward, seemingly unarmed, at Joe.
I just run at her as well. Sword and dagger drawn.
Alright, I need you to roll me a fight roll.
I rolled a 6, but can I roll with my daring?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then that's an 8. I love to, through violence or cutting words, inflict a condition, and also create an opportunity for an ally through prowess or distraction. I rush at her with, like, sword kind of very obviously, and as I get very close to her, I sort of, like, not bail out of that, but I, like, duck and roll so that I'm immediately behind her and seize a superior position with, like, my sword against her neck.
Well, as you do that, there's a pulse from her chest, and there's a swirling of energy, and popping up is this rotating shield that your sword just hits and clangs against. And she's like, well, you could have left. I gave you an out. But instead, you had to provoke me. I'm not leaving here until he is free. And she is now angry. She is able to wrest from your hand your dagger, and now has it in hers. And there is a sound of a clicking that begins, and you see that the sludge coming out of the pipes begins to come faster and start shooting out, and as it like breaks through whatever this sludge was, it looks like that bright green water just comes shooting out straight across one of the platforms, making it incrossable unless you walk right through it. It kind of separates you from the rest of your allies. But JJ, as these people are kind of swarming you guys, you see that Joe has spun around and that Delia's back is now exposed, and your gun is trained on her.
Can I take a shot?
Roll me a fight.
So that's just a 4.
As you shoot, the kind of like bullet that is almost made of light and crystal that shoots out of it shatters into the wall behind Joe, and the shards of it kind of go flying and flickering across the floor. And Delia turns her head to you and says, "Good try." How is Mama reacting as these 3 other individuals swarm, swords out, ready to attack?
Mama is gonna take a defensive stance, and because we know that these people aren't in their right mind, she's gonna try and see if she can knock a few of them out, either by kind of like quickly extending the cane sword by like quickly pulling it out and then using the handle side to like smack people up against the head.
Roll me a fight roll.
Yo, that's an 11.
Your sword comes out, and it is such a powerful strike against them that they, as they try to parry, you shove them, and they stumble backwards off this landing into the water and just start screaming. And you can see the water begin to, like, the crystals kind of like surge from the sides where they've been growing and begin to kind of like overtake them and cover them in green crystal. The crystals that are pointed upward, that have been rainbow this whole time, flash green through them all of a sudden, and you see the body above like jolt, and then they turn back into rainbow. Zion is currently like ducking under a sword and like slams the other one in the shoulder, but they kind of catch themselves and are kind of back in it with him. She just looks at you through this kind of like glowing crystal screen almost of a force field, a shield, and she says, "How sad would it be for me to distract you long enough so that they all die? Maybe I'll let you go after that." You hear Mel calling over this rushing of sludge acid that's currently shooting across the way, and she says, "Delia, you don't have to do this. I told you we'd find a way, and we still can. Please, just stop. It's not worth it at the end."
I think Joe, like, tries to kick out Delia's, like, knee.
All right, roll me a fight.
It's an 11. I'm gonna inflict another condition. I'm going to take the shield from her if I can. Take an object from your opponent. And then I think, again, I'm going to try to create an opportunity for an ally.
As she's on the ground, you can just literally kind of reach under it, and you can rip this pack that is like belted to her chest off. Does kind of rip open the front of her shirt a little bit. As she falls, you notice that there is like a little device hanging off of her pants that has kind of fallen off and like kind of clicked along the floor. And as you reach over and you click it, that spray of acid ceases. And now the walkway is open again. I'll say with all of that, she also becomes frightened.
That ends, I think, with me, because, like, I, like, kick out her knee, she, like, falls to the ground, I, like, get on top of her, rip the thing off, so...
She's kind of grappled on the ground.
Perhaps you should be more worried about preserving your own life.
You want to see scientific achievement, right? And if you kill me now, you'll never see the end of this.
Progress isn't progress for progress's sake.
Sometimes people are really pretty. They can't put their morality behind them. I'm sorry for you.
Can I start shooting at the things holding the guy up? And or can I try to break something so that they start falling?
I'm going to have you roll a Defy Disaster. I'll have you roll with grace because of the swiftness of this action.
Could I argue it's wit? Because I'm like, okay, I don't have a clear shot at this person. I can shoot this down.
Yes.
That means I get a 7 instead of a 6.
So there are 4 chains here. You can try to shoot the ones that are nearest to you that you will 100% succeed on. But there is a possibility that in the trajectory of them breaking and the rocks crumbling and them swinging down, it will hurt one of your friends or yourself. Or you can try to shoot one that's farther away, and I am going to have you roll 2d6, and it will be from a 1 to 6, you miss, or on a 6 to 12, you hit. And it won't hurt one of your friends, because it's far enough away.
How likely is it to hit me versus my friends?
It will hit you or Zion.
Zion would rather I get 2 of them out than one of them not, so I will shoot them both out and hope it hits me.
You shoot one of them. It comes swinging down faster than you expected. You see the rock shatter and break and fall to the ground, and you see the actual like chain bolt that was holding it into the wall come swinging down, and you're kind of like able to grasp it right before it hits you in the stomach. And you kind of like hold on to it, and it kind of like flings you up in the air. So I'm going to say that this is a staggering physical blow for you. And you have 3 conditions right now, which means you lash out at someone whose regard matters to you, provoke them to do something foolish or harmful and take advantage of a string on them, you hesitate or stumble and the opposition gains an opportunity, or you grin and bear the blow and you mark 2 more conditions.
I'm now insecure and angry.
You eventually get your feet back onto the ground and kind of let this chain go, and you shoot up at the other one. But as you do, and as you've been like staggered from this blow, as you've already been like shoved out of the way, this one does come and pummel into Zion as you've been moved from that point.
I think I'm gonna take out the one between JJ and I.
This one, his back is turned to you because it thought the other one was taking care of it. So this one was going for JJ.
Great, so his back's to me? That's awesome. I'm literally just gonna lift up my cane and just do a little bap.
All right, roll me a fight.
That is a 10.
So they get a condition. I think you created an opportunity for JJ to get this one too, as this individual kind of stumbles forward. And then you can take an object or seize a superior position.
I think it's better to completely disarm this person, because at this point they're left punching, and something tells me these are not very punchy boys.
As you kind of hit him in the back of the head with your sword, and they stumble forward, you grab and wrench the sword out of their hands, and now they're like fully helpless in front of JJ for next time. Mel, as soon as the acid stops spraying, kind of runs up towards where Joe currently has Delia on the ground and thrusts her sword down towards Delia's neck. Doesn't kill her, but just thrusts it down, and like you can see a little trickle of blood come out of her neck from the sword's tip. You have two options right now, Delia. I can easily run you through, or you can tell me how to stop this. Delia turns her head to the side, and you watch as the blade cuts more of her neck as she does so. And then, Joe, you feel her arm move as she tries to distract you with this whole neck situation. And you're thinking about exactly what's gonna happen. And you can either duck and have the swing miss you, but you know where that trajectory would hit if you did that.
As Delia's arm shifts in that split second, Jo doesn't duck out of the way. She just kind of shifts the position of her body slightly so that it doesn't go directly into her lung, but she lets it hit her. And for a split second, she can only hope that the dagger is not long enough to go through her whole body and hit Mel.
You feel a searing pain underneath your rib cage as there is a dagger completely embedded in your side. And Delia is just smiling at you. And then she rips it out. And you feel the blood kind of spurt and kind of pulse out of your side. And you hear Mel scream, "No!" And she plunges her sword through Delia's neck. With the two chains having come off the wall here, this large figure is still attached to them. And there's nowhere to go except down. And the body begins to angle, the head coming down first, the arms slamming into the water on both sides. And Mel, rips you up around your waist and, throws you both to the side to avoid the torso coming down upon you. And Zion, Mama Amaretta, and JJ can't see past this large mass in the middle of the room now, but the water splashes up, and I need you both to roll Defy Disaster as you're threatened to be hit with this.
That'll be a 8 for me.
Grace? Okay, -1, 7.
JJ, in order to get out of the way of this, you're going to have to lose your crutches. You're going to have to put a lot of weight on that foot. And you're going to be staggered by it again. So you can either choose one of the things. You can be rendered helpless for the scene, you're humiliated, yada yada yada, or you choose 2 from the lower conditions, which would have to be the opposition gains an opportunity, and you lash out at someone whose regard matters to you.
JJ's going to hear Mel yell for Joe. Everything falls. She's dodging the water. She's on the ground. She looks over to Zion, who hasn't fully recovered from getting whacked with a giant fucking rock, and just go, "Get up! Can't you tell that Joe's over there alone and you're lying on the fucking ground?"
Mama, where you are and where this thing is landing, it's not easy to figure out where to go. You're either gonna have to jump and try to make it across this water, or you're gonna have to try to slide under the arm and probably get kind of stuck under it as it comes down on top of you.
I think she'll risk the jump.
You get up and you try to jump across, and your foot kind of slips on the edge, but you are able to catch yourself and make it to the other side, which does put you farther away from everybody else. Delia has been, from what Joe and Mel can see, has been trapped underneath this large half of this body. And you can see that the body as it impacted almost like has started to melt. You see the black sludge and the swollen bits like glop off and just fall into the water and sizzle and crystallize. The other individual, by the way, that you guys were fighting, the one between Mama and JJ was crushed under the arm when it came down. And there was one more that Zion was fighting that also got pushed into the water by the movement. Right now, Mel is like halfway over you, holding on to you, just like breathing heavily at the exertion of moving both of you so swiftly.
Jo presses her hand against her wound, trying to keep as much blood inside of her body as possible.
You hear the clatter of a sword as Mel drops her sword and kind of like presses you against the nearest pillar and starts to take her jacket off, like slides it around you and tries to just like wraps the arms super tight. And you can just see the red seeping in and staining the white of her blazer.
Ah! Fuck. Ow. Well, darling, it doesn't seem to be much use, does it?
You are not dying on me, Jo Gilmore.
No? Seems like I just might.
You can't die on me, Jo Gilmore.
She, like, has her head kind of, like, leaned back against the stone, and her eyes are squeezed shut in pain, but she manages to kind of crack one open to look at her. I promise I'll try my best. But you don't really like promises, do you?
Not when I know you can't keep them.
Well, Mel?
Yes, and she kind of finishes tying everything and like trying to put everything back together, and so she's kneeling right in front of you, looking directly at you.
I did miss you.
I missed you too. And then she leans in and kisses you. Zion has scrambled up from the floor and is like looking around and assessing the scene. What the hell? And you look to where he's looking. And in the middle of the walkway, as the sludge has continued to fall off, there is starting to appear the body of a man. But you also see the body of Delia, and you see that some of the sludge is starting to clam onto her body. But as it does, it like seeps into her skin, and there becomes, across the puncture wound in her neck, this black crescent, and she begins to stand. And as she does, Jo, you can see as you look over Mel's shoulder, when she pulls back, smile on her lips after kissing you, you can see past that Delia's eyes have turned the rainbow of the crystals. And you can now see that the dream that you guys had seen, like that energy that was connecting people, is like coming from the crystals into her fingertips. She's looking at herself very confused. She gets the guilty condition because she feels this power that was supposed to be for her father, and she feels that she can't stop taking it in.
Can I shoot her?
Yeah, make me a fight roll.
I can do plus daring?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then that's a 0 because my -1 cancels out, so that's a 10. I'm going to seize a superior position, and then I'm going to inflict a condition. But I think JJ stands up, puts on the greatest mask she has ever put on. This is for Jo, you fucking...
It slams into her back, and as it does, you watch her lose the connection with the dream colors that were powering her. You watch her lose connection to that, and you watch her drop to her knees, and her shoulders kind of go limp, and she gets the hopeless condition. And you watch her turn around and see her dad on the floor. This man, almost perfectly preserved from when he died, but still quite obviously dead. And you see as she begins to cry, the dreams leak from her eyes, down her face, and drop in these shining globules on the floor. And she throws herself over him, and you can just see her body racked with sobs. You still hear the sounds of fighting and sword clashes from the room, but you can't see in it anymore from where Dimitri and his crew were fighting. But this room is mostly quiet.
Jo, and JJ's gonna scramble as fast as she can with her ankle to where Jo and Mel are.
Their faces are still super close. Mel is cupping Jo's chin as you get over there.
I heard someone's name get yelled. There's blood. There's blood. There's a lot of blood.
Nothing to worry about. Just...
It's you. I'm gonna worry.
JJ, perhaps don't.
We do need to get her out of here quickly.
Do we?
Joe, don't do this. Please don't do this.
Can you carry her? Zion! Someone needs to carry Joe. We gotta go. We have to go now. We have to get out.
I don't.
We can fix this. Easily. We just have to go now.
We have to go now. We have to fix this.
Joe's eyes go between JJ and Mel, flicker to Mama, and to Delia sobbing over her father. And she, spits, and it's just a mouthful of blood. Alright, you can carry me, but if I'm slowing you down, you better throw me in that goddamn river.
Mel's forehead falls against yours. I lied before, by the way. I'd go in circles with you forever.
Well, we'll see if I live to see that through, darling.
Begins to lift Joe up. Eventually, the clanging of swords stops, and Dimitri comes in and kind of looks around and takes stock and sees the scene and kind of goes over to Amaretta and helps her, fully up to her feet and make sure she's okay.
I think she's gonna just pull him into a hug and hold on to him tightly because he is okay.
Hold you, puts your head, in the crook of his neck. Zion comes over and goes, Mel, you need any help? Are you good? And she goes, I'm fine, thank you. I've got it.
We need to go. We need to... Joe.
You are able to, with Zion's help, kind of wrench a screaming Delia away from her father's dead body. And you see as all of that sludge kind of gets into the water and the crystals overtake it, the lights in the crystals that are jutted up and out, all of that rainbow begins to disappear, and they become just clear, transparent crystals again. And you are able to make your way up and back out of the sewers to go tell whoever you need to tell, most likely the enforcers, what transpired. It has been a few weeks since Lamplight Investigative Services took down a case that had been plaguing the underground of Nova for quite some time, only recently brought into light by Delia Weatherby as she made a foolish and mad attempt to bring her father back from the dead. In the process of these past few weeks, she has been under deep investigation, as have many people in the surrounding factors. The individuals of the Faceless that Dimitri and his crew were fighting were not killed. They were apprehended and are also under questioning by the enforcers. Though many of the Faceless were found, they weren't all found, or at least that is not what is thought to have happened. Many fled, disappeared. Those who were found have been treated differently depending on whom's they are. Some were immediately apprehended and upon showing no sign of regret, jailed. Those who seem to be confused and conflicted are currently in rehabilitation facilities with the understanding that they might be able to break them from whatever brainwashing Delia forced them to be under. For those affected by either this new crystal drug or by the simple fact of Delia turning on her mother's machine, they also have a plethora of different outcomes. Some, such as the boy who you followed who had been graffitiing across Cypher, and had fallen from the upper balcony of a factory, had unfortunately, once the connection to the dreams was severed, passed away, as did some others. Some have claimed that they have not been able to dream since. Some have claimed that they have no memory of what it was that they had been building their life up to, while others seem perfectly fine and back to normal. April specifically, JJ's sister, seems to be back to herself, though is missing some things, or they're at least harder for her to grasp onto, but overall is okay. But I would now like to turn it over to you all to see, after a pretty intense few months of cases, what your characters are doing.
after a few weeks, she definitely would have made Dimitri reconnect with the people who he hadn't seen for 3 years, including
his children, although, of course, she wouldn't push Yara and Zion to rebuild that relationship if they didn't want to. But I think in the meantime, it was mostly just a lot of paperwork, probably a lot of interviews, because I imagine how huge this case became. So she's probably had to do a lot of talking. And the moments she gets to spend in silence at her house is even better, because now she's actually in the company of Dimitri, and so nothing feels as lonely or as empty. Her home feels like home again, instead of a place she just is.
Zion has a conflicting relationship with Dimitri currently, and you can tell that he's more putting up with it because it makes you happy that Dimitri is back. Yarrow has refused to see him. And I think at some point, Dimitri asks Emeretta, "So, this business has been under your wing now for quite some time."
Yeah, a few years now.
"The people in it are there because of you. I don't want to take it from you, is what I am trying to say."
I don't want to take it from you either. You're the one that started the whole thing.
I obviously gave it up, didn't I? I walked away from it.
just because you gave something up a bit ago doesn't mean you can't always resume it if you want to.
I'm more than happy to keep working.
I think I would like to come back, but I want you to stay as well.
Well, I certainly ain't going anywhere. I'm more worried about you.
I'm here, but I think we can finally do it together.
I'd say that sounds like a good plan. You know, 2 heads are better than 1, as they say.
And our heads are the best heads.
Now I think you're just biased, and she'll just pull him in and give him a kiss.
Kisses you back. Anything else for Mama?
Honestly, I think realistically it would be just trying to take that time to resettle the family dynamics and knowing that Yarrow might take time and that maybe the relationship might never come back. Probably dealing with the new, very complicated family dynamics of, well, what do you do when one of your kids wants nothing to do with the other parent?
The first week after JJ spends kind of just like a ghost, like wandering around, doing things when directly told, and hovering mostly around Joe, not going too close. Just, I think JJ's been waking up with nightmares of Joe not making it and going to find Joe just to visually confirm that she's alive and then continuing to float around. I think by now it's sad, but I think she's avoiding calls from her sisters and just trying to pretend like nothing happened. And in almost this like sad return, I think in a cinematic way, the camera would enter the front door of the office to see JJ sitting at the desk, shuffling paperwork, and just, "Oh, Lamplight Investigative Services, whose office were you looking for?" And she's just smiles, her big, fake JJ smile, trying to move on from any of the days that occurred in the past couple of months. She sees Zion. She's not running, but she's not as present as I think she planned on being. She'll be okay.
So she spends the weeks following in the hospital. Obviously, JJ and Mama visiting, talking to them when she can.
Bringing so many treats so you don't have to eat that horrible hospital food.
JJ keeps breaking things just to be like, I don't know. Put it back together.
Mel walks into your hospital room. It's like the day before you know you're going to be discharged. She's been here before. Not every day, but often enough. How are you doing? Any better than yesterday?
Not really, but they're still going to let me out. I'm glad you came by. I wanted to tell you that I forgive you.
Ah.
But that I don't think we should see each other again.
She had come in pretty casually and she all of a sudden tightens up and stands up straight. Well, I've never known a circle with an end, but I guess there's always time for something new.
It's not forever, I don't think. I don't hope. But you have a life that you want, and dreams and goals, and I don't think I fit into that for you.
Well, you've forgiven me for prior misdeeds, but are you going to be angry that I have spoken with Mr. Emery?
No, you're a good match.
Because I won't this time, if it's too close.
Please. Everyone around me has a life, has things that they want to do, specifically has ties, family, loves. They all seem very, rooted. I don't quite feel that way, but I hope you could potentially lay down some roots here. There's a lot of good people.
I'm going to pretend this is like summer holiday. I'll see you when I see you, Joe. But only if you ask me. I'll respect that.
I'll see you when I see you.
She kisses you.
Joe lets it linger for a moment and then kind of collapses back against the hospital bed.
And she leaves.
And then Joe gets checked out of the hospital and she goes to her apartment and she writes some letters and leaves them on the table. One for JJ, one for Mama, one for Yarrow, and then she puts her belongings in some bags and she leaves.
One day, not so long after that, as JJ sits at the desk at Lamplight Investigative, Dimitri and Mama in the one office that is in this space that they have chosen to share, though you're not quite sure if that was the best choice, as there is always a lot of arguing going on in that room. The mail arrives, and it has JJ's name on it, from some city elsewhere, some city across the continent, with no return address.
I'll open it.
JJ, sorry I left without telling you. I thought it'd be better, you know, safer for both of us if I wasn't in Nova anymore. And I think it's true. I've had a bit of a better life now, not having the roses breathing down my neck every second, and I don't like that I was forced to do what I had to do. Kinda sucked, actually. I thought you should know. I wanted you to know. I'm okay, and ran into a friend of ours. She's okay too, by the way. Keep doing good work. Because even if you don't think it, I do think you figured some stuff out. I'll miss you, and if I ever stop by again, I'll come see you. Have a good life, JJ. Love ya, Jack.
JJ, for the first time in 3 weeks, holds it to her chest, and she finally starts to cry.
We push out of Lamplight Investigative Offices, leaving the new trio of workers and detectives. We see the words Lamplight Investigative Services on the office door. We continue out of the building, the brick building by the corner, the one that has been there, that has been second home to Amaretta, has been second home to JJ, was home to Joe for so long. Pull up into the skyline, see Cypher, you know, compared to Nova, maybe not such glory, but in all its glory, the end. This series stars Kenzie Tartaglione as the Game Master, Atlas Matthews as JJ August, Danielle Halen as Mama Amaretta, and April Consolo as Joanna Gilmore, with Michelle Kelly performing our episode recaps. And we've come to the end of another queeRPG season. You can help us out by listening and sharing, rating and reviewing, or coming over to our Discord. Also, you can join our Patreon to get access to our episode talkbacks and more. Thank you all for joining us for this story.